Good morning, everybody. It's 8:30, so I'm going to call this meeting to order. If I could have a roll call, please.
Member Cahill? Here. Member Garcia?
Here.
Member Evans? Here. Member LaPlante?
Here.
Member Cover? Chair Rutledge?
Here. Thank you. For my remarks this morning, kind of some good news and something we're watching, I guess. We're going to talk about foam this morning and the fact that the state of Illinois has worked toward banning that. I love that because I didn't get a lot of traction with that here, so I would be happy if the state took that over. The other thing I wanted to mention this morning is kind of a brief touch to the environmental committee. I had a constituent reach out to me last week who was a previous alderman in the city of Warrenville, Forest Preserve employee, and he called me about the train derailments and how do we know who's in charge when that kind of thing happens, and how do we deal with that? So I reached out to Chris Schneider. He is talking with the entities that would be the first to be called from the federal government for that. So just wanted to update the committee that if you've got anybody asking about that, that Chris Schneider is already putting kind of some answers to that question together for what the heck happened since we've had 5 train derailments in a pretty short period of time. So take your questions to Chris. Cindy,
do you have any comment about the proposed merger and the effect on the environment with that?
Oh, absolutely not.
Well, they came out and said that there is no great environmental impact, and then the county responded. But do we need to do anything more? Is there anything we can do to
there is, so the press conference last week, I mean, probably one of the most compelling speakers was the mayor of Elgin, who said that his tracks run right by his water source.
Right.
So for me, that was a huge red flag. I think that there is a large consortium of officials that are really fighting this. As far as directly answering your question, I'm going to defer to Nick, I think, on that.
No, and I can tell you that there is the group that is together, which is the collection of all the municipalities who have an interest in it. I mean,
the coalition.
The coalition,
yes.
Absolutely. The environmental aspect is a huge part of it. Not only it's safety, it's traffic, it's environmental. That's all part of the equation they're looking at. So yes, it has an effect on all of the above. And that's our reports and our comments reflect that.
Very good.
Yeah. I mean, just from the cars idling, waiting for these massive trains to go by is, it gets down that far. So thank you. Next, we have public comment. David Barkis.
Okay. Last time I spoke briefly, and I'm with International Dark Sky. Over the last month, I can tell you some news of things were accomplished. Glen Ellen Park District just got their sports center approved. The design is approved to be dark sky compliant, community friendly. Wheaton just got that information from me because they're considering doing something with their sports centers outside. And I gave the same information to Paul Haas at the county because they've got a development project that's going to go through the same thing. Also gave Paul information about digital billboards because there's a development program for that within the county along 355 and 53 to try to tell them what to do because, as you know, they're bright like a TV at night. So there's a lot that can be done. We'll see where that goes. I also gave example ordinances for outdoor lighting to the Director of Public Works in Westmont. She is trying to put together an ordinance for the city there. And then I've been working with Wheaton and Glen Ellen environmental committees on lighting projects that they're just starting to talk about in their future, as well as Paul, because there's development that's going on within the county. I will be, next week I'll be in River Forest talking to their environmental committee. I'll be at Earth Day in Naperville on the 23rd of April, and then I'll be at Scarce's May 6th event, talking to all the residents about what they can do with outdoor lighting to protect the wildlife. So I'm ready for anything you can think of. I have time. So thanks much.
Thanks, David. Sounds like you are doing quite a bit with that. Thank you for that. Next, Kate.
Morning,
McKean, I'm sorry. Everybody knows who you are.
Morning, everybody. So it's a busy, busy time. So we have lots going on. There are 25, I think, DuPage County recycling extravaganzas already on our schedule. So we are really working hard to get everything going there. We had our Teacher Institute Day this past Friday. It didn't snow, thank goodness. So we had 30 people on a bus. We were able to learn about the green attributes at the DuPage Water Commission. So the teachers got to see the infrastructure that they've put in, down to their tiles in their bathroom are made out of airplane windshields. So really good for the teachers to see all of that. And then we went to the DuPage quarry, and then we worked on waste audits and contaminants in our recycling. So the teachers got a lot of training in 5 hours for the environment. We're grateful for that. We have an Earth Flag ceremony coming up, the Early Childhood Center of Villa Park. So it's a early childhood preschool kind of a group. Some of the kids have special needs. It's going to be really fast. We're doing one Earth Flag raising in the morning and one in the afternoon. The kids' time frame is about 7 minutes, I've been told. So we're going to be really fast there. We're excited. We got a grant from the DuPage Foundation. So we are doing some repair events. The first 2 are this month. This Saturday, it's kitchen knife repairing, sharpening, how to maintain knives so that they last, so you don't have to buy new ones. It's actually a gentleman from Naperville, Bill Storm, I think is his last name. So he's come and teach people. He'll have magnifying glasses so you can see the edges. He'll teach people how to sharpen them. And then he'll sharpen 1 to 2 knives for everybody for free. So that's pretty cool. And then towards the end of March, March 29th, we have a bike repair and maintenance program. So bring your bikes. We'll teach you some ideas of how to repair them. A big deal right now is making sure you get the salt out of your gears. If you've been riding during the winter, how bad that is. So kind of maintenance, kind of repair, and then also a part, well, what kind of tools should you take with you on when you're out on a bike ride to repair some things that you can repair? So that's coming up. We have an open house on the last Saturday. I think it's March 25th. Last time we had an open house in January or beginning of February, we had 63 people come. So people are anxious to see what they can do at home and little things, simple things that they can do to make a difference. At Lyle, their recycling event, March 18th, we'll have the 2 recycling bins for smoke detectors. You guys this committee bought us 2 smoke detector collection bins. So it's the first time we're advertising it to a community to bring smoke detectors. So we just shipped out 2 big, huge bins. So we're grateful for that. Worked with Westmont's Environmental Commission last night. They came to Scarce for a tour and to learn about the smoke detector. They're planning on buying 2 bins. Sorry?
You have 1 minute.
I've still got a minute. I've talked, I was like, woo! No, so we are very excited about that. So we've got Lyle, Addison, and then we've been helping the Glen Ellen Go Green with their 3rd sports equipment swap. So we're excited about that. And we've just started working with Downers Grove. Downers Grove is considering, the residents of Downers Grove is considering a Go Green committee in Downers Grove. So we're working with them. So there is a lot going on as we get ready for April, our very busiest time. If you can join us for Earth Flag ceremonies, that's great. Let Joy know if you can come. Like I said, the early childhood is going to be really fast. So those little kids aren't trying to be good for very fast, for too long of a time. So thanks, you guys.
Thank you, Kate. Let's see. Next, I'll ask for a motion on the approval of minutes from Tuesday, February 21st, 23. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. A claims report, payment of claims, public works and facilities management. That's for a motion. So, wait a minute, I'm on public works, sorry. So sorry. I know I was looking at that. I flipped over to, okay. I'm on the right page now. Approval of minutes. Okay, we already did that. That was Tuesday, February 7th, not the 23rd. A discussion on the 2023 Illinois General Assembly recycling legislation. Joy, good news today.
Yeah, good morning. So this year, there are 3 pertinent, pretty significant recycling bills that the General Assembly is considering. The first is a paint recycling bill. It's the Paint Stewardship Act. There's a hearing actually today to see if it'll make it out of committee. And it checked yesterday, and it looks like the Chemical Council even supports this bill. But it proposes that there will be an eco fee put on every can of paint that is sold within the state of Illinois. That eco fee will be levied at an amount to run a program for recycling of all oil-based paint and latex paint from residents, and then very small quantity generators. One collection point does have a convenience standard, so one collection point for every 50,000 residents within the state of Illinois. So we would have approximately 19 collection sites in DuPage. Paint is one of the top items that we do get phone calls on. So it would be fantastic.
How do you get that message out there? Where are the collection sites?
Well, got to get the bill passed, and then this would be implemented. Let me look here. Did I put that in here? I think 2025. Did not, but yeah, it's going to take them a while to get this up and running.
Like I have some cans in my garage.
And there is a recycler in Nashville, is it Illinois? No, it's not Illinois, but it's Missouri. Anyway, funny story. There's a huge GDB recycler that would benefit and be able to use Illinois. So that is a bill that we wanted to talk to you about today, possibly taking to legislative committee next week. The second one is very similar. It's a Carpet Stewardship Act bill. The difference between this bill and the paint bill is that the cost of the recycling would be, I guess, put into the cost of the carpet. There would not be a designated eco fee per se. It's just a different way of doing the legislation and doing the programs. California has been working on this, New York, Oregon. Product stewardship is talking about the CO2 equivalent that could be saved through recycling carpet. So it's pretty good bill. That one, that's kind of where we're at as far as support. Yes. All right. Opponents are strictly a few Chicago investors. Other than that, it does have a lot of support. Hearing on that is tomorrow to get it on the committee. The last one is the Packaging and Paper Stewardship Act that we talked about a few meetings ago. This is currently in committee, Senate bill and House bill. Hearings are today and then the 9th on the bill to get it out of committee. At this point, the plan is to probably file an amendment and to continue to hear from all the stakeholders. This is the bill that would have the manufacturers create a clearinghouse to create more recyclable packaging and also support recycling programs throughout the state of Illinois in households as well as in multifamily structures and at local government facilities. So today we wanted to talk to the committee and see if you were comfortable putting these on the legislative committee agenda and moving these forward for the board to support.
Is the foam involved?
Yeah, I was going to ask that too. That's not in this.
So we did not have the foam in. Cheryl and I talked about that. It has not made it. It did just make it out of committee, and Cheryl, I believe, is going to put that on.
It'll be on the bill list next week.
It'll be on the bill list.
Yeah. Great.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
Yep, and that one, let's see, 731 proponents, 35 opposed. That one is moving, but already hearing made that committee. So yes, Cheryl was planning on putting that on legislative committee for this.
I don't think there'll be any disagreement with that here.
What's the negative side of the packaging? I mean, from an environmental standpoint, it's outstanding, but from the cost to the actual consumer, that's the problem, correct?
It's not just the cost to the consumer. And actually there's been studies done where it's an infinitesimal, would be a very small increase if there was an increase because of all the things that go into the cost of a product. The studies have shown that it's really negligible, if not even noticeable in an increase in cost. The negatives are the haulers are a little concerned. They're concerned that it's change. It would be change on who pays the bill. It would be change on the program. The product stewardship organization would be paying the haulers. So it's a difference. So we're meeting with them to see if we can figure out how to make them more comfortable. And they would be responsible through funding from the PRO to start recycling downstate in areas where there is no recycling. So there's a lot to it. It's a big bill. You know, Cheryl and I keep having the conversation. It's a big bill and there's a lot to it. Product manufacturers obviously are not a huge fan of it. You know, it's a different you know, it's a different cost for the manufacturers. It's a different program. It's another program for them to comply with. The retail merchants are, we've been chatting with them. They're supportive. Let's see what else. The environmentalists, we're talking with them a little bit more about adding some environmental justice, some more additional reusability, and including more post-consumer recycled content in the actual packaging.
How long does foam last in garbage?
I don't have an answer for you.
Okay, I'm just, it's gotta be
a very long time.
It's gotta be a very long
Nobody
time.
knows,
I
'cause
believe
it's
it,
still
yeah.
there.
I believe it's 50 to 100 years is what I found at one point in time, but I don't want to be held to that.
No, I know, but I just figured that. And it's just, I know I'm one of the ones that goes to DART to recycle
I do that too.
foam, but I know that that's not convenient for everyone to do that. So I just think this is a no-brainer. So, okay, thank you.
How will that affect like consumer goods that come packaged in foam? I mean, the stuff we eat on and drink from is one thing, but if they do away with that, will manufacturers have to replace their packaging?
In the foam bill, I can't remember, Cheryl.
The bill just applies to retail establishments and restaurants. It only applies to food containers.
Okay,
Yeah, it doesn't apply.
that's a start. Okay.
Right.
Any other questions? All right. Let's see. Moving along. Staff reports. Joy, the Arbor Day event.
So we are talking internally about redoing our Arbor Day event. This is something we had done a couple of years ago where we purchased trees from the state's nursery downstate. They're little saplings anywhere from 12 inches to 18 inches. We wrap them and hand them out to employees in the county buildings here, as well as the health department. The approximate cost of the program is $600 or less. That will get us about 500 trees to distribute to the employees. Free of charge. It would also give us the opportunity to educate employees about the benefits of trees, and tree maintenance and tree care, which is part of our Arboretum designation for the campus.
That sounds absolutely outstanding.
This is, oh, sorry.
Sure, go ahead.
Sorry. Are we going to open it up to the public? Because I feel like we didn't have, when I was working here, nobody had any more room in their yards for trees. Like we were giving away so many that people were just taking them home, and I don't know that they were planting them. So
we are going to do some of it will be shrubs, some will be trees, was our hope. And we talked about this internally, and there's been a lot of turnover with staff. So we're really hoping to kind of tap the new employees that we haven't touched previously. And we did get a huge interest from the health department staff. They've only been included once. So we're thinking that they will probably take a majority of the trees. Your concern is well founded and something that we did talk about, because at some point, how many trees can one plant in your own yard? So we did go with like a lower mix this year, but you're right. And I'm happy to chat about ideas for next year that we can do that might not involve planting a tree at your house. Doing it for the public is a little tricky for us because there's only a couple of us that work on this.
sure.
But maybe at some point, maybe next year we can talk about doing a larger event, maybe with public works or facilities and such.
Or if you find that people are not picking up the 600, maybe the county board members can kind of distribute versus,
Yeah.
Big tree
go places. So Paula, what do you have?
Yeah, I've got from one of the Arbor Days when I used to go as well. I mean, I've got this huge northern fir that's growing in my backyard. But I mean, I don't know what kind of trees you're going for, or what you're going to be giving. Are you giving any dwarf trees or anything like that? Because I could definitely put something like that in. But
They are native trees. I will get you the
What is the date of that?
okay.
April 28th. And that'll be here
That's Earth Day, right?
It's Arbor Day.
Sorry.
Arbor Day is the 30th, but it's the Friday before Arbor Day.
Right.
We wanted to give it to employees on Friday so they would plant it over the weekend. But that'll be here in the atrium.
Okay. Got it.
Any other questions? All righty. Propane tank recycling partnership. Austin.
So a quick little update. I know last year, around I think it was February or April, we partnered with Flat Can and the Forest Preserve District to have a pilot program where residents who were camping at the Blackwell Forest Campground, family campground, drop off around 1 pound propane tanks. Usually the ones that you take to camp that aren't readily accepted at most propane recycling programs. And we did get roughly 35 pounds last year from when they started in May to when they ended in around, I think it was September. And that was with some introductory marketing, just get the residents used to it. And we're going to be doing that again. They moved the propane crate over the winter to their, I think it was where they have kind of Boy Scouts and whatnot that side of their the campground, but they're moving it back to the Blackwell campground upcoming in late April, early May to start the same program at the family campground to try to get more residents to put their propane tanks there. They did find that residents were leaving propane tanks in the area where the crate used to be, so they're aware that residents are a fan of it. So they're going to try to market that a bit more, and I'm going to help them with that. And it should run again from May when they start the camping season until they end it in September. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you, Austin. Any old business? I'm sorry, no questions. Any old business? Any new business? I actually have one thing I could have put under chair remarks, but the West Chicago has approved the Lakeshore Recycling Transfer Station plan. Now they move on to the pollution control. I think there are several more steps before they can start their renovation, but I've been following this, and there was a lot of talk about, oh my God, we already have one transfer station. You're going to put another one in West Chicago. For me, I love that idea because we're kind of not very good at recycling in our county, and I'd like to fill both of them, frankly. So that's so I'm watching that, and if anybody's got any questions, I can maybe answer those for you. Any other new business? Without objection, we're adjourned. Okay.